Welcome back to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Mendte. New Jersey has the second highest COVID-19 death rate in the country. Each and every day in this state, another family suffers a tragedy. Our Kimberly Kravitz introduces us now to one such family and a young man who has channeled his loss into motivating others to get vaccinated.
It was here at the Glen Ridge Police Department that Officer Charles Roberts reported to every day until the 45-year-old police officer died of COVID-19 complications. And now the memory and great legacy is what's left behind.
He was just a great person in general. He would move out of his way in any way possible for another person. He would always put other people before him. And he was loving, he was caring.
Gavin Roberts reminisces about his father, a man that was adored and hailed a hero by the community. And that's why Gavin had this special wish for his 12th birthday last week.
My wish was to get vaccinated and just help people like my dad would do. And it was kind of my way to honor him in a way.
Officer Roberts passed away before having the opportunity to receive a COVID-19 vaccine. According to the Officer Down Memorial page, COVID is the #1 killer of law enforcement officers in both 2020 and 2021.
On April 21st, he collapsed while he was in his bedroom. He was quarantining just to be safe, but he didn't know he had COVID, and he collapsed, his heart stopped, still didn't know he had COVID.
Roberts said her husband eventually recovered from COVID-19 in the hospital, but his brain was too far damaged from a lack of oxygen. He was taken off life support the day after Mother's Day.
Young, healthy people, though, do die. And I can't imagine that COVID, if you have underlying medical problems that he doesn't even know he has, would help that situation at all. I read that he was a marathon runner, that he was in great shape, but we know that marathon runners die of cardiac arrhythmias.
That day I was 100% scared on what this virus did and could do in the future, and it really scarred me for life.
This isn't really like your typical COVID path with the heart just stopping, and the nurses in the ICU in Lenox Hill Hospital said, no, actually we do see that a lot. The testing back then was very slow, and like I said, they had mislabeled his test, so that was another delay.
People, healthy people, and we saw many of these people, particularly early in the pandemic, would get blood clots in their typically lower extremities. A piece of that blood clot would break off and it would shoot up to the lungs and heart. We call that a pulmonary embolism. And if it's big enough, they just collapse.
Officer Roberts was a father of 3, a 20-year veteran in the local police department, and the unofficial mayor in town.
He knew all the moms more than I did because I was always at work and he would do the drop-offs and pickups at the elementary schools.
He would have a smile on his face every day before work, and he would always have a smile on his face when he came home, when he saw us.
Next month, Officer Roberts' name will be added to the National Law Enforcement Memorial Wall in Washington, D.C.
He put others before himself in everything he did. He was a coach to my kids in soccer and baseball. He would come home really tired because he really put all into his work. He worked 12-hour days. He would take on overtime whenever he could or side jobs, to support the family. So, it's a real loss.
Anyone that lives, works, or studies in New Jersey over the age of 12 is eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine. Reporting from Glen Ridge for Jersey Matters, I'm Kimberly Kravitz.